Breaking news coming out of Chicago. The Chicago Bears have just hired Chuck Pagano to be their defensive coordinator, replacing Vic Fangio as the leader of this fearsome defense. Now, Chuck Pagano, he really has his work cut out for him because, Vic Fangio, he's replacing a person in Vic Fangio who took this defense from last in the league to first over the course of 4 years. He was a person that was very loved in Chicago, very respected. So, again, goodbye to Vic, but Chuck Pagano, he is, very big shoes to fill, and he'll be expected to do a lot, starting with his first year in this as the coordinator of the Bears. And as a Bears fan, I actually really love this hire because, Todd Bowles, he was probably my number one favorite for this job, but we didn't really have a chance in him because Bruce Arians really wanted him, really bad. So, he's going to go to the Buccaneers most likely. But Chuck Pagano is a very underrated signing by the Bears, and I think that the signing is going to keep this defense dominant for years to come. If you guys didn't know, Chuck Pagano, he has a lot of background on the defensive side of the football. I was actually surprised at how much he's coached defense in this league in college, and I'm just going to read you guys some of his, resume so far. So, he started out in 1984 as a coach of Southern California. He was a graduate assistant, so pretty much just assisting stuff on the defensive side of the football. He went to Miami after that. He went to Boise State to be a linebackers coach. He went to East Carolina to be a defensive backs coach. UNLV for 2 years, defensive back coach. He went to East Carolina again, defensive backs coach and linebacker coach. Next, he went to Miami to be a defensive backs and special teams coach for 5 years, where I think he had some level of success. Then he went to the NFL, which the Cleveland Browns for 4 years. Then the Oakland Raiders to be a defensive back coach. North Carolina to be a defensive coordinator. The Baltimore Ravens to be a secondary coach. And he was also their defensive coordinator in 2011 when they had a very dominant defense. And obviously he was head coach of the Indianapolis Colts for 5 years from 2012 to 2017. I believe two or three of those years they had a pretty solid defense. The other ones, not so much. But part of that was also because they didn't have, the right personnel. I don't think their GM really did a good job of building that defense. So Chuck Pagano, he has been around the league. He has had a lot of experience in the NFL. Being a head coach for 5 years, I think it really helps this team as a whole because even though Matt Nagy is very smart, a very genius offensive mind, I think that he is still young. He still doesn't know as much about the NFL as a person like Chuck Pagano might. So having an older, more experienced coach in Chuck Pagano, I think that's really going to help Matt Nagy and this team as a whole because just having that experience, that wisdom, it can be so beneficial in so many different ways. Now, Chuck Pagano, he is also a very strong, very high character individual. If you guys didn't know, he survived cancer from a couple years ago, and he came through very strong. His whole team rallied around him. He never gave up. So I think that Chuck Pagano, he is a perfect person to continue to build this locker room chemistry, to continue to build this culture that the Bears have been building. So I don't really know much about him, about what he's like from a defensive coordinator aspect because I haven't been watching his defenses that much, but I will continue to research him, keep you guys updated on what I think. But as of right now, I think that this Chuck Pagano hire, it's a very good move. Our defense, it might take a slight step back, but it's still going to be dominant next year. Chuck Pagano is going to be a great defensive coordinator. And Bears fans, I think that we did the right thing here. Bear down.